Shri Paramatmane Om Paramatmane Namaha. Hari Om Namah Parvati Padiyara. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. You are doing live darshan of the ashram where I stay in Rishikesh. I wish all of you a very happy, blissful, prosperous Holi. Whosoever and wheresoever you are, let this festival of Holi bring an eternal stream of blissfulness, the unbroken and infinite color of love and everlasting beauty in your life. This Holi is an is a practice, a tradition, a symbol, a festival which always reminds the entire humanity to transcend the entire range of the darkness in the life and from darkness to the light. The journey from the darkness to the light, the journey from the falsehood to the eternal truth, the journey from the suffering and sorrow to immortal bliss. That is the symbolic and philosophical spiritual message that it symbolizes the state of the mind, the state of the human being, whereby he lives, acts, thinks, speaks in such a way that he transcends the finiteness and ephemerality of this ego-based entity called body, mind, intellect. The ego-based individuality and personality we have identified ourselves with is the real bondage and barrier and limits the infinite and immortal love and joy that is our nature. So as long as you continue to the belief that darkness blurry our eternal light of love, bliss, and pure consciousness. That is your true nature. So this Holi invites you to transcend that mortality and ephemerality of your this body-centric individuality or personality that an average human being has identified with. As long as you continue to remain in this body consciousness, the mind consciousness, there is no possibility of the true festivity, no true celebration in the life. The Holi is a celebration, an invitation and invocation for this celebration. The life immortal alone can be a reason for celebration. The light which is finite, the life which is finite, momentary, ephemeral, can never ever be. That is one of the most fundamental principles which of Vedanta, which Jagat Guru Adi Shankara repeatedly keeps reminding. Anything which was born and which will die, anything which is ephemeral and momentary, can never ever be a real source of joy, bliss, beauty, and love. Therefore, this festival of Holi and the mythological stories of that the bonfire where the sister of great devotee Prahlad, the holy Holika, who was burnt, she symbolizes the ego based intellect, the body consciousness, and the body centric intellect is what is Holika. As long and once that Holika is burnt, that is ego. Ego Ego is nothing but manifestation of the mind, the constant mental modifications which create artificial illusory world of yours alone represent that Holika, and as long as she exists, there is no possibility of the truth or the love, bliss, and beauty in life. So, Prahlad, the devotee of the Lord symbolizes the ultimate truth, the supreme truth, not an external reality. Your own reality, the Lord, the Brahman, the Paramatman, or the Vishnu, symbolizes nothing but the absolute truth, the eternal reality, and true nature of yourself. So you need to surrender, as in the case of Prahalada, who was son of the demon king Hiranyakashipu. So his ego didn't allow him to surrender to the Lord. Lord is nothing, not a character of the past or some mythological story. The Lord is ever present within you, me, and everything and everyone and everywhere. That light of pure consciousness, the Sat, that Shiva, is that supreme reality, that supreme Lord. So surrender to that reality which is ever present within you, the pure consciousness. There is no possibility of love, bliss, and beauty in life. So, this celebration of life in Sanatan Dharma is a celebration of not a momentary, ephemeral incident, event, or any festival. It is an invitation, an invocation to usher into that state of truth, that state of your own truth, your own life, your state of mind, whereby you identify yourself with that supreme reality. When you identify yourself with that supreme reality, that is ever present within you, and that in ordinary spiritual literature is known as the God or Paramatman or Ishvara. That is your own true nature, your own reality, and your own ego. You have two identities, you have two personalities. So, your ego based identity, the current identity, which is symbolized by your mental modifications, your mind, ego, build personality, the sense of separate identity which never likes to surrender to anyone, but always interested in making the rest of the universe surrender to your will. That leads to the bondage. Reverse does happen. So the truth and falsehood both reside within us. The falsehood must surrender to and dissolve into the truth. That is the significance, that is the spiritual significance of Holi. The truth must surrender and dissolve into the eternal truth. The ephemeral and momentary must surrender, dissolve, surrender and dissolve into the eternal, the immortal, the imaginary and illusory must surrender to the ever present reality. The illusory personality that you have created, the illusory world you have created through mental modifications, unless and until that individuality of yours is surrendered into the real individuality, personality, and identity of yours, that is the pure light of awareness ever present within you, me, and every living being, as the Atmana. There is no possibility of real freedom, there is no possibility of real joy in life. Therefore, the entire spiritual literature or the philosophical schools in India revolve around this one supreme reality which invites you and me and everyone, especially the humans, because humans have been programmed, mentally, intellectually equipped to discriminate between the right and the wrong, the ephemeral and eternal, the real and the unreal. And unless and until you have the faculty, the intellectual faculty whereby you could discriminate between the real and unreal, ephemeral and eternal, you are not going to realize or experience that supreme truth which alone liberates you, which alone makes it possible for you to realize right in your personal life the direct, immediate experience of that supreme reality that is ever present within you. That same reality is called as Shiva. The same reality is also called as Sacchidananda. But that reality transcends all names, forms, and identities. The true nature of yours is beyond all names, forms, and identities that are imposed by ordinary minds. And unless and until you know the art and science of transcending the forms and names, you are not going to be face to face with the truth. The truth, the eternal, the absolute reality is always formless, nameless, and attributeless. Nirakar, Anam, Nirguna Nirvishesh. But your mind has been trained and conditioned to understand, to cognize, to experience only the objects or the world, the phenomenal world, which is made of the names, forms, various attributes. So, as long as you are trapped in this phenomenal world of names, forms, and various attributes, the true holy celebration, this true holy celebration would be an illusory celebration. The holy begins only and only when you burn down the holika of ignorance, holika of ego, holika of mental modifications, the ego based identity. The holika symbolizes that identity. And from the burning pyre and the ashes of that burning pyre of holika would arise the supreme truth called Prahalada. That intellect, that individuality, that personality who is ever ready to surrender and take a refuge in the ultimate truth, that is the Lord, the Hari, the Vishnu, the Paramatman, the Atman, the Sacchidananda, the Shiva. All these names symbolize the same reality. Your readiness, willingness to take refuge, to surrender and dissolve into that supreme reality guarantees that you attain that supreme reality, you get established in that supreme reality, and that state brings in your life itself, right here, an infinite ocean of bliss, everlasting beauty, and infinite fountain of unconditioned and absolute love. So, this Holika, holy celebration, essentially, and that's why it is one of the greatest festivals of Sanatan Dharma in Vedic culture. The life must be, and every moment, every act, word, thought of ours must be a celebration. Living life in sorrow and suffering is a scourge, a curse, which is not and must not be in your life. Every moment of your life, every act of your life must be soaked in absolute bliss. Every act of your life must vibrate with unending joy, which remains just a pipe dream. And as long as you continue to remain established in the ego based personality, you are bound to remain and keep chasing that illusory, the momentary sensual pleasures that you have been chasing will of course will come, but even before you enjoy them, they disappear. That is the tragedy. That is why the Vedanta says and Jagarguru Adi Shankaracharya says that there is no possibility of joy, love, and bliss and beauty from any external object which is ephemeral, momentary, which has been created by something, combination of the five elements. So you need to, right now, right here, take refuge Your ego-based personality, your mind-based personality must take refuge into your own consciousness-based personality, the pure awareness-based personality that is called Atman. That Atma Buddhi alone is the recipe, that Atma Buddhi, that is in ordinary sense, ordinary terms, when you realize that you are not this mind, body, intellect, but you are the illuminator and revealer of all this. When you do that, then you transcend that ephemerality, momentariness, transitoriness, illusoriness of the body, mind, intellect, the individuality and personality that has trapped. In fact, that is the bondage. If the body, mind, intellect, and ego based individuality alone is your identity, then there is no possibility of deliverance, deliverance from incessant chain of sorrows and sufferings and worries. So, unless and until you shift your identity, the shift your belief, understanding that you are this gross mind, body, intellect, there is no possibility of really transcending. And without that transcendence, you are not going to really usher in the realm which is free from all sorrows and sufferings. For that, you you need a radical shift in your own thought processes, your own beliefs, a radical shift in your own understanding of your own reality. None else, no one would ever can actually bring deliverance for you, as in the case very powerfully Jagadguru Adi Shankara says in Vivek Chudamani, that someone who is suffering from some ailment, some disease, can't by paying somebody else that I pay to you for your services and please you take the medicine for my sake. Is that medicine going to cure that person? No. The ailing person, the weak person, the sick person, howsoever rich, howsoever powerful he or she may be, must take the medicine for himself. And if he doesn't take the medicine for himself, he is not going to be cured. He will continue to suffer. Similarly, I, me, and everyone, whosoever is suffering the bondage, the incessant cycle of birth and death that leads to incessant suffering, endless suffering. So, you would have to take the responsibility for your own life. You alone are responsible for your bondage, sorrow, and suffering, and you alone are capable, competent, and empowered to break free from that. The supreme freedom, ordinarily and popularly known as the moksha, can be attained by none and by nobody else's efforts or arrangements or guidance. Of course, in the beginning, the Guru's grace is nothing other than the knowledge, the experience, and the inspiration that the self realized master, gives to the disciple. Beyond that, the disciple must have to put the entire effort by himself or herself for the supreme freedom. The grace of the Guru or grace of the God are all contingent upon the self grace, the Atma Kripa. Every other single grace or possibility rests upon the self grace. The Atma Kripa is the foundation. So, effort to understand the reality and then to be established in that reality, to throw away, to discard, to renounce that falsehood that has surrounded your life and accept that which is your true nature, the supreme truth. That has to be done by you and you alone. None can do it for yourself. So, this great festival of Holi has this spiritual message. Every single celebration in Vedic culture, in Sanatana Dharma, is an invitation to usher into truth, to break free from the world of falsehood, the ephemeral world of momentary relationships. So, transcending from false to truth, shifting from ephemeral to eternal, and most importantly, transcending the world of the gross phenomenal world to the conscious awareness, pure intelligence, the illuminating and revealing energy, the light within you, me, and everywhere. Every single atom of the cosmos is soaked in, illumined by, and exists in none and nothing other than that pure consciousness. That light must be kindled if you really want to celebrate the Holi in the true spirit of the festival. The true spirit of the festival would make sense only and only when you realize that the life you have been living, the river called life, is being bound by the two banks of ephemeral and momentary happiness and sorrow, the rise and fall, the victory and defeat. But these are all illusory. And as long as they continue to remain as they are, there is no possibility of unbroken bliss, unending, everlasting joy. That is your birthright. Joy and bliss is birthright of every living being. That is one of the most fundamental principles of the Vedanta philosophy. That's why the Brahman, the Paramatman is known. One of the name of the Brahman is Anandamaya. The Upanishads call it Anandamaya. Blissfulness. Whenever or wherever you find some sense of and some fragments and rays of bliss, joy and happiness, the supreme reality, the God, the Paramatman is present in that experience. But that is only momentary. The challenge before us is, and that is the message of the Holi, the great festival of Holi, to make that joy and bliss unending, uninterrupted, and would that would become possible only and only when you go to the root of that joy and bliss, and that root, the fountain of that joy, bliss, love, and beauty, is ever present within you in the form of pure light of consciousness. That is your Atman. None other than you is the source of that unbroken, unending love, bliss, and beauty. You alone, but out of ignorance, that love, bliss, and beauty somewhere else in the external world. So, suggest is the spiritual, philosophical, and metaphysical message and significance of the great festival of the Hindus is Holi. The Holi is an invitation to usher into the realm and domain of eternal love, infinite bliss, and everlasting beauty. And the root, the fountain, the source substratum, substance, and seat of that eternal love, bliss, and beauty is ever present within you as the Atman, the illuminator, revealer of every single experience, every single entity. And that is called Brahman, that is called Shiva. So, the life must be an unending celebration. So, have enjoyed infinite bliss and everlasting beauty is absolute nature. So, burn, burn down that ego-based holy, ego-based personality, burnt buddhi, that is holy. The by the Prahalad, the great devotee Prahalad, would rise. The real celebration of the light, the super luxury, absolute independence, not conditioned by anybody else, anyone else, anything else. That is your birthright. So every human being, this Holi is inviting every human being to make this the sorrowful, sad, bound life into that supreme, glorious life, which is birthright of each one of us. Every human being is destined. Every human being is programmed, and every human being is entitled to that. You don't have to borrow or beg before anybody else for whatever you have been seeking for millions and millions of years. There is nothing else you have been seeking. The Upanishads say that not a single living being in the cosmos is seeking anything else other than the bliss. The bliss alone is known as the love, pleasure, joy, beauty. All these are the various manifestations. Bliss is a very fundamental, a technical term in Vedanta philosophy. So every single being from the smallest single cell amoeba to the greatest and most evolved, most enlightened human being is seeking none and nothing other than the bliss. The Upanishads say that the entire universe and every single living being in the universe has origin out of bliss. They exist in bliss and for the bliss, and finally they dissolve and disappear into bliss. And that is why that bliss, the Anandamaya, one of the names of the Supreme Lord is Anandamaya. So bliss is your birthright, and this Holi, the great festival of the Hindus, the Holi, is always reminding you, inviting you to break free from the chain of sorrows, sufferings, cynicism, defeatism, negativity, and usher in the realm and domain of creativity, positivity, love, bliss, beauty. Only and only then the real significance of this Holi, the great festival of Holi, becomes meaningful for you. So let's hope and pray that this Holi, the, in the current phase, the entire humanity is going through a very critical phase. You, the entire world realizes this, and this great festival of Holi brings about this, the sense of togetherness, the sense of coexistence, the sense of love, bliss, and beauty that is the entitlement of every and each one of us. So, the entire human race, the entire planet, the entire world, let me hope and pray that this Holi brings the eternal truth in our life, the infinite bliss in our life, the unending beauty in our life, and even the physical world and the practical, behavioral, societal, political, cultural, institutional parameters and the environment where we live becomes soaked into and full of that supreme truth, the truth of that supreme reality, the light of pure consciousness, the Atman within you, me, and each one of us. Let's hope. Sarve nah sukhino bhavantu, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Very happy, peaceful, blissful and prosperous होली टू ऑल ऑफ यू। आप सभी को होली की कोटिशः बधाई। आप सबके जीवन में होली की होली मंगलमय हो और आपका जो परम स्वरूप, जो आनंद का अनंत भंडार है, जो आत्म स्वरूप, उसमें प्रतिष्ठित हो जाएं आप। यही हमारी कामना है। संपूर्ण विश्व में आनंद हो, शांति हो, सौहार्द हो, वैभव हो। इसी कामना के साथ आप सबको पुनः होली के इस पावन पर्व की कोटिशः बधाई।